What's up? My name is Charles, and I'm going to show you how to make peppered steak with mango chutney.
All of the things you never say.
The first thing we're going to do is make our mango chutney. This can be prepared a day in advance or even a few days in advance, and the flavor will actually improve as it cools in the refrigerator. But if you just want to make it right before serving, that's totally fine. Here are all of my ingredients. Then we're going to just add them all into this pot. We'll start with some sugar. This will really give the chutney the texture that we're looking for. Apple cider vinegar. Neutral oil. I'm just using sunflower oil. Some raisins. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to taste. This will draw some moisture out from the fruit. I'm using frozen mangoes. These are organic frozen mangoes. There's nothing wrong with using frozen fruit. It's picked at the peak of ripeness and it's kept very fresh because it's frozen. So give some frozen mango a shot. It's easy to work with and the flavor is always great. Just throw all those in there. Oh. This damn thing. Just reach into the fire. Okay. Be careful with that. Mango in.
Rescue.
And then I have some spices. This is a different spice mixture. This is cinnamon, ginger, cayenne. You can use really anything you like. We just want to give it a little dimension of flavor. Oh, and an apple. You can also use pear, that's totally fine. We want these to be about the same size as our mango, so they all cook pretty much evenly. But apple takes a little longer to cook, so if you want to cut it smaller, that's okay. I am going to use some dragon fruit in my mango chutney. This thing looks like an alien. It's delicious. As far as I know, there's two kinds of dragon fruit. This one is white. There's also one that is red inside. It's very easy to work with. I always wash my skin and then this comes right off. We're just gonna chop that up. Again, about the same size as our mango. So for me, I'm cutting it into sixths. Okay. See, I use my knife a lot to pick things up, but be careful because there's a sharp point on the knife, sharp part on the knife. Just be careful. I always go like that also, but be careful when you do that. Okay, now we just want to bring that to a boil, and we're going to stir it with a wooden spoon. We also want to add some bay leaves. These are citrusy, really fresh. I grow my own bay leaves now. They grow like crazy and don't really chew them and swallow them, but they add a ton of flavor and freshness. Throw those in there as well. Okay, once our mango chutney has reached a very full boil, we're going to strain it. When we strain the chutney, we preserve the texture and the color of the fruit, but we get to reduce this liquid into a syrup that will really intensify the flavor. And also, it really improves the texture. Now we're just going to let that boil till it's reduced to about half. When we're reducing this, we don't want to boil it too much. So basically, if it starts to splatter, we turn it down. And we just want a nice sizzle with some bubbles. The bubbles show us that the sugar is caramelizing and thickening into a nice syrup. Okay, so now here I have my mango chutney. I'm going to add this beautiful syrup into our mixture, and we're going to put this in the refrigerator and let it cool. You don't need to cook fruit very long, and it's also important to remember that the sugar and salt create a chemical reaction, and the chemical reaction will draw out juice from the fruit, and it also kind of cooks the fruit as well. This is called maceration, actually. Now I'm going to let this cool. This can be served hot, this can be served room temperature, this can be served cold. Personally, I like it cold. I think that the cold chutney with the hot and peppery steak is a really amazing contrast, and I think you should give it a try. So the spice mixture for our steak is very simple. We're just going to use some black pepper, fresh black pepper. We're going to use some beautiful star anise. Star anise will intensify the beef flavor a lot. And just a little bit of kosher salt. Now to grind the black pepper and the star anise, I like to use just a regular blender. It works perfectly fine. The only trick is that you need to pulse the blender. When I say pulse the blender, I mean that you have to turn it on and off in increments. Otherwise, the pepper will get too hot and it will just stick to everything.
You never say, all of the words that got away. It becomes hard to feel free. All of the things you say we still need. Please say you'll never leave.
Now it's time to cook our steak.
Please say you'll never leave.
I'm going to use a little bit of oil. One way to tell your pan is ready for your steak is when we throw water in and it makes a little sizzle like that. And we're going to take our steak and just lay it away from us. You want to lay it away from you because if you lay it towards you, it could splatter you. How do we find the right heat for this steak? We want it to sizzle and not splatter. The heat is very high right now, and our steak has just adjusted to the pan, so I'm going to turn the heat down to medium. Now I have a sizzle and no splatter. That's how that works.
Please say you'll never leave. All of the words upon this page speak of a bird inside a cage, where it becomes hard to feel free. All of the ways
Some sage. Just throw that in there. This will fry, making it nice and crispy and edible. My heat is a little too low right now. This is rare. This is medium. This is well done. This cooks from both sides, you know? We'll just give it one more flip, check on the other side. Looks pretty good to me. What do you think? place it down there. And we can even put the butter on top. That will kind of soak in. After you cook a steak, the proteins and all the juice inside is boiling and bubbling. So we have to give it time to relax. And then it can reabsorb that moisture, or at least hold it in. It's a very important step to let it rest before we slice it.
Down, down, down. Going deeper now. Down, down, down,
This one
down.
in half.
Going deeper, baby.
Slice.
Oh, 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 oh.
How's that look?
Please say you'll never leave. Please say you'll
Mango
never
chutney.
leave.
Just taste that.
Know my heart it bleeds to hear from where we used to be. Tell me you could never leave. Tell me you could never leave.
Some of this too.
Tell me you don't wanna leave.
Here you have our peppered steaks with mango chutney.